Once upon a time, in a kingdom in the east, there lived a woman named Nneoma. Nneoma was a very beautiful trader in the village. She was married to Obiora, one of the village palm wine tappers. Obiora was in fact the best palm wine tapper in the village because he was very hardworking and also produced the best palm wine. There was no one who tasted his palm wine that didn't ask for more. So as a result of this, the king of the village, King Tobe, would always buy so many jars of palm wine from him. Soon after, Obiora's relationship with the king grew and went beyond just business. Obiora became very good friends with the king and they would always discuss and laugh about different things. Nneoma and Obiora both loved themselves, but they had been married for almost 5 years and were yet to hear the cry of a child in their home. This always troubled Nneoma, especially when she saw other women moving around with their children. She wished that she would be blessed with her own child. She had also taken several medications from the village physician, yet she didn't conceive. She would usually use her business to distract herself from the fact that she was childless. So one day, while at her shop, she saw an elderly woman moving from one shop to another begging for food. Most of the other traders chased the woman away, saying that she should not contaminate their food items. But Nneoma took pity on her and gave her a seat to sit down, then went in to bring her food and handed it over to the woman. She was so grateful to Nneoma. She thanked Nneoma and promised her that her deepest desire would come true for her kind gesture. Nneoma felt happy about what the woman had said. She went home that night and told her husband about her encounter with the elderly woman. So many people had wished her well, but she somehow just had this conviction within her that what the old woman had said would come true. A few months later, Nneoma realized that she was pregnant. She was the happiest woman in the village. Her husband was also very happy, and the king, being his best friend, celebrated with him. Soon after, Nneoma gave birth to a bouncing baby girl and named her Oge. But ever since Nneoma gave birth to Oge, there had been always one issue or the other in their home. Nneoma's business began to diminish as she hardly sold anything in her shop. Obiora also fell terribly sick and had to stop his palm wine tapping business for a while. The once wealthy family began losing their wealth, and even the villagers noticed the hardship befalling Nneoma and her family. There were rumors that Oge was an evil child who came to plant discord in the once happy and healthy home. Obiora eventually recovered from his illness and resumed tapping his palm wine. Nneoma advised that he rested more to be sure that he was fully recovered, but he had been bedridden for almost a year and was ready to begin work. While he was up on the palm tree one evening, he missed his step and fell to the ground and died instantly. The news of Obiora's death sent shivers down the spine of the entire village. When the news of Obiora got to King Tobe, he felt downcast. Obiora was his best friend who has fully recovered from his illness, only to fall down from the tree and lose his life. The way Obiora died was known to be bad omen, and the king promised to avenge the death of his friend. He went to pay Nneoma the next day a condolence visit and reminded her that ever since her daughter Oge was given birth to, the family had suffered great loss in all aspects, and rumors had it that Oge was an evil child behind the tragedy of her family. He also brought to her knowledge that the way in which his best friend died was not heard of, so it was a bad omen, and if nothing was done about it, the calamity that befell their family would also extend to the entire village. He therefore told her that in a few days, her daughter Oge would also be killed for taking the life of her father, Obiora. Nneoma found it difficult to understand how the death of Obiora was caused by Oge. She tried to explain to the king that her daughter was an innocent child who had no idea of what was going on, but King Tobe was not having it. His words were final. He advised that when Oge is executed, Nneoma could marry another man and have as many more children as she would like, but he won't make the mistake of sparing Oge's life so she doesn't grow up and ruin the entire village. Nneoma was not interested in marrying another man, and she also didn't want to lose Oge, as she believed that her daughter was innocent and had no hand in whatever the family was going through. So to preserve her daughter's life, she went to a woman in the neighboring village who was very powerful. Nneoma explained the entire situation to her and asked the woman to transform her daughter into a snake. The woman was surprised and asked why. According to the traditions of their land, a snake was never to be killed, as it was always welcome. In fact, some people in her village worshipped snakes and paid homage to it. So Nneoma knew that if her daughter was turned into a snake, no one was going to kill her. She didn't have any relative that she could take her daughter to stay with, so she had to make sure that Oge was safe, and the only way was to turn her into a snake. The powerful woman was amazed at how smart Nneoma was and agreed to grant her request. The day came for Nneoma's daughter to be executed, and the king ordered his guards to bring Oge to the palace. But on getting to the house, they found Nneoma crying, saying that she didn't know where her daughter had gone, that she had been looking for her. The guards searched all around the house for Oge, but she was nowhere to be found. So they went back to the palace to report this to the king, and he knew that Nneoma was lying. She was only trying to protect the life of her evil daughter. He believed that she must have taken her to another village. He sent words back to her that if her daughter was ever found anywhere around their village, he was going to still kill her. He didn't push further because he knew that as long as the girl was not in their village, she wouldn't be able to bring calamity to his kingdom. Little did he know that Nneoma's daughter was now a snake. From that day onwards, Oge, who was now a snake, would always come to spend time with her mother. The villagers saw this but paid no mind to it because they never harmed snakes. Sometimes a snake would even enter their homes and they would welcome it till it was ready to leave. Oge roamed the entire village day and night. She was able to talk and communicate with her mother all this while. So most of the time, Nneoma communicated with her python daughter in secluded areas, away from the hearing of the villagers, so they won't find out about her secrets. Several years had passed and Oge became fed up. She complained to her mother that she was tired of hiding her identity. She knew she was a human who was transformed into a snake, but her human feelings were still intact. So being a snake was a difficult life for her to live because she was always lonely, except when she was with her mother. She would usually peep from inside the bush when people gathered together for festivals and celebrations, wishing to join them in marrying, but she couldn't. Nneoma's village and the neighboring village were arch enemies. They had been rivals for so many years and were always in conflict. The two villages never saw eye to eye. It was confirmed that a man who went to the neighboring village to pay a visit to his friend was murdered by rogues on his way back. This infuriated King Tobe and he vowed to never let it go. He would never sit and watch any of his people being killed by his worst enemy, so he prepared for war against the neighboring village. The day they were to go to war drew closer, and Nneoma told her snake daughter Oge to remain hidden in the hut as she was not willing to lose her only child to the war. All the villagers locked themselves in their huts as the war began for fear of being harmed. The warriors of both kingdoms fought tirelessly for hours. Nneoma and the fellow villagers watched from a distance and witnessed how the warriors of their village were being slaughtered like animals by the neighboring kingdom. King Tobe feared at this point that he may lose all his warriors, but it was too late to call them to retreat as the war had escalated. Before Nneoma knew what was going on, Oge the snake girl quickly moved outside to assist her people in defeating their enemy. Nneoma, filled with so much fear, began screaming her daughter's name, chasing her daughter and asking her to come back. The villagers watched in surprise. The big snake in anger spat fire from its mouth, which consumed the warriors of the neighboring village. King Tobe and all the villagers watched in horror and amazement at how the snake defeated their enemies. The war soon came to an end, with King Tobe's kingdom emerging victorious. He was so happy because his village was already at the verge of losing. He went further to call on Nneoma, who was in a panic, and asked her to explain to the village why she called the snake who defeated their enemy by her daughter's name. She knew that the king and the villagers had realized that the snake was her daughter, and she was worried that he would still kill her because King Tobe never went back on his words. She narrated to the entire village about how the powerful woman turned her daughter into a snake in order to hide her identity so the king doesn't go after her life. They were all surprised. King Tobe explained to her that her husband Obiora was his best friend, and he couldn't handle the news of his death, so he believed that Oge was an evil child, and it was her birth that brought about the sickness and death of his best friend. He poured his frustration on the innocent girl, and for that reason he wanted her executed. But realizing now that it was the same person he almost killed that saved him and his people brought tears and shame to his eyes. Had it been the snake hadn't come to their rescue, the entire village would have been brought down to nothing or even wiped out. He expressed his gratitude to the snake girl Oge and told Nneoma that she was free to go back to the powerful woman to transform Oge back to a human being, and she was fully welcome as a member of their village. Without hesitating, Nneoma went to the powerful woman early the next day and demanded that her daughter be transformed, which the powerful woman did. When Nneoma saw her daughter, it was too hard to believe. Oge was now grown. She hadn't realized how much years had passed by since she transformed her daughter to a snake. Oge, who was also as beautiful as her mother, was now happy to be human again. She easily mixed up with other villagers and was happy that she was now united with her mother as a human and didn't have to hide her identity from the villagers again. The lesson to learn from this story is never to let our anger and pain push us to make rash decisions like King Tobe, as it could alter the lives of others around us. We should also remember that any condition we face in life is preparing us for something greater. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notification to get notified when next I post a new video. Bye!